Today we're going to be making gluten-free sugar cookies for Thanksgiving.
2 cups of gluten-free flour.
Before we start,
We're dumping in the flour.
now we're adding 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. Don't ever confuse baking powder from baking soda. They're completely different ingredients. The recipe calls for 1/4 teaspoon salt, but I only add a tiny shake. I don't add too much salt. Stop. Next we're adding a 1/2 cup of sugar, but I always take a little off the top so they aren't quite as sweet. Next we add 3 tablespoons of confectioner's sugar, or powdered sugar as some people call it. Teddy, do you want to add one? Sure. Okay.
Perfect ball.
All right. Now Teddy's gently stirring the dry ingredients together. The gluten-free flour, the baking powder, a little bit of salt with some sugar, confectioner's sugar, and granulated sugar, so that they're fully mixed. Getting there. Next, in a separate bowl, you want to take butter that's been softened. Usually you do that by letting it sit out, but in a pinch you can put it in the microwave on defrost for about a minute so that you can easily stir it. This is called creaming the butter. So you get it nice and smooth and fluffy. Next we're going to put an egg in a little cup so we can mix the egg before we add it to the rest of the batter. So you mix the white and the yolk together real thoroughly. To there. When it's fully beaten, add the egg to the butter. And mix those 2 ingredients together thoroughly. And then you want to add about a teaspoon of vanilla. Now we're going to gradually start adding some of the dry ingredients. We do it gradually so that the ingredients can be combined easily. When you combine the first half of the flour with the egg and butter mixture, and then you can add the second half and combine that. It's a little bit more difficult to combine, but you just have to keep working at it, pressing the flour and the butter together, and eventually it will combine into a nice cookie dough. I hope.
Go.
Sometimes you just have to get in there and knead the dough with your hands until it forms. This dough's a little dry. Make sure you wash your hands before you start kneading. If the dough's a little dry, you can add just a teaspoon or so of milk to make it easier to knead. When your dough forms a ball, you can put it into the refrigerator and let it chill for maybe 15 minutes. Let's see if I can find room in the refrigerator. It's pretty full. Got a lot of sauce and all kinds of veggies, everything in there for Thanksgiving.
Alexa, set timer for 15 minutes.
Clean up right away.
Go.
While the dough is chilling, it's a good time to clean up so that you don't have to clean all that up later. If you clean as you go, then the cleanup is much easier.
Dewey, hi. You excited for these cookies? Hi, Dewey. Waiting for the thing to chill. Do you see deer?
We can wait 20 minutes, so it doesn't matter. Here's the dough. Nice and supple and ready to be rolled. I need a cookie sheet, and it needs to be covered with parchment paper. Uh-oh, it looks like I'm almost out of parchment paper. So we can use parchment paper more than one time, and this is enough for this batch of cookies. Then I'll have to get some more. If you don't have parchment paper, just butter your tins. That'll work just as well. When you prepare your surface to roll out your cookies, you want to put a little bit of flour so your dough doesn't stick to your cutting board. And be sure to use gluten-free flour when you're making gluten-free cookies. I've made the mistake of using regular flour for gluten-free cookies, and that's a big mistake. Okay, then you roll the cookie dough out. Like I said, this cookie dough is a little bit dry. I don't know if that's because the egg was small or the flour wasn't measured quite correctly. Sometimes you just have to deal with what you got. And it still turns out great in the end. Okay, stop. Roll flour onto your rolling pin. Makes it roll out easier so the dough doesn't stick to your rolling pin. While you're rolling and cutting your cookies, you can start your oven at 350.
These are the 2 cookie cutters. Pumpkin, turkey. Now press the cookies into molds.
Pull it out. Make another. Another.
Let me try one. Okay, we'll get them out.
Gluten-free dough is a little harder to work with, so sometimes something like this will happen. Your turkey's head will just fall off. And you have to start again then. Just put all the dough back together and roll it out again. Ready to go to the pan. Okay, here's our first batch ready to go into the oven for 6 to 8 minutes. You have to keep an eye on them to make sure they don't get too brown. So we'll start with 6 minutes. Okay, it's been about 6 minutes, so we're going to take a look at these and see how they're coming. They look like they might be able to use maybe another minute or two. Let's reset the timer for 2 minutes. And then we'll take them out. Although if they do brown, that's okay. If they brown on the edges a little bit, they'll still taste good. Okay, we're going to take them out now. I can smell that they're done. The more you bake, the more you can tell something's done just by the aroma. I'm going to bring it over to the table and very carefully take each cookie and put it on a piece of wax paper to cool. It's pretty hot, ouch.
Here they all are on the wax paper. One. Okay.
Okay, here goes the second batch. This time I'll put it in for 7 minutes. There we go.
Here are the things that we will be decorating the cookies with. Yellow frosting, red frosting, orange frosting, and rainbow sprinkles. Here is the second batch of cookies, and hear them both together. These look very cool.
When the cookies are completely cool, Then you can decorate them with frosting or a gel. The first batch is completely cool. The second batch is still warm, so we have to wait a while on those.
You can take
But we can decorate the first batch.
They can decorate one.
And I'm just going to outline the cookie so there isn't so much sweetness. I don't like it to be real sweet.
No, the cookie.
Oh, there's a lot of air in this.
Yeah, there's a bunch of air.
So I'm just going to do an outline around the pumpkin. Just to give it a little color, but not much sweetness. Boy, this gel is not wanting to come out.
Boy.
There it is.
Now Teddy's gonna do one. We only have orange, yellow, and red because those were the only colors that I could get that were Thanksgiving themed or fall themed. There was no brown, which you can get, but you have to go to a store that specializes in cake decorating. You can get any color, really. And Grant thinks I should have gotten some green so we could have done the stem of the pumpkin, but I didn't think of that. So we decorate with what we have. Most important thing is the taste.
Are all the cookies, frosting, and all. They look very, very cool.
Okay, cookies done, decorated. We had a little trouble with our tubes, but we got it together. And now we're going to taste test one cookie because we need to save the rest for Thanksgiving. I'm going to cut it into 3 pieces so we can taste test. And here we go.
Teddy?
Grab a piece. Mmm. Good.
Mm-hmm. Teddy, take it. Alright, so.
Tasty.
Very good. Mm-hmm.
A nice low sugar cookie. Low sugar, gluten-free. Tastes almost like a shortbread. It's delicious. I hope you like this video, and I hope I make another one. I'll try to think about some that I can do. Like and subscribe. Happy Thanksgiving.